So here's a short update video on some things that we've done on the shop. I got some empty toolboxes down here. That one over there is full of bolts. That one's my dad's woodworking, but I got 2 empty toolboxes I'm going to set up for the truck, the Jeep, and then we can have stuff like that, or when we go camping and stuff. This is full of wrenches. And when I say full, I'm not joking. This is full of sockets. Every time I buy a toolbox, it's got a fuck ton of sockets in it, so I decided to sort them all out. More wrenches, spark plug sockets, rags. Just buy the Harbor Freight rags, guys. You don't need expensive stuff. Buy these, wash them in a 5-gallon bucket with a toilet plunger. That's been organized better with all the drill bits up there. I got a shit ton more pipe wrenches. I don't know what I'll ever do with them. I'll probably have a yard sale at some point. Here is a bunch of drill bits specifically for triangle end for a brace and bit, or for a brace. Here's a flathead screwdriver. Yeah, bet you haven't seen one of those. So, I mean, look at that sucker. That is old. Oh, here's another flathead. Gandering over here, we have the lighting so poor. We have a box of bolts that I have to sort through. Just some scrap metal and stuff in here, trash bags and twine, trailer lights and 12-volt lighting and wiring and stuff for there. Fuck ton of staples. Here's that Harbor Freight thing I had. Here's more stuff. Here's more stuff organized. This is all screws and nails for the most part. This is a lot of things. I have to go through it, and I put stuff in here like machine screws, more machine screws, more machine screws, concrete anchors, lag screws, sheet metal screws, more screws, seals and plugs, more seals and plugs. Yes, that is actual sealing rope for like a steam engine or ancient stuff. Lock washers, hardware, more screws, machine screws, brass, more lags, more screws, and machine screws. Up here is all other random stuff, clamps. I gotta go through this still. It's got a bunch of stuff in it, like, how's that for a knife? Drawer hardware, more stuff. I think this, yeah, these ones are empty. These 2 top ones there's nothing in them. $3 at a yard sale, a bunch of grade 8 hardware. I'll tell you, go to yard sales, go to estate sales, especially in smaller towns or farms. You can buy stuff like this for cheap. I bought a 5-gallon pail, and I got out of that 5-gallon pail that, full of screws, some scrap metal, and if we walk over here, those 3 things filled with those extra bearings are from work. But I've got big concrete anchors, conduit hangers. This is all conduit hanger stuff and ground clamps. Conduit stuff. Like, this is all conduit stuff in here. There's even more conduit stuff back there. And I paid $5 for the whole bucket. There's that grinder and motor I got for $5. I took it off the board. There's one of my twin cylinders. It's a little itty bitty thing. It's terrible. It's been rebuilt, but it's just slow as shit. With a condenser, because that used to be for a commercial air conditioner unit or big freezer, refrigerator, something like that. It's like from the 50s. It's old. Condenser works great though when you want to do auto body work. Plumbing and air compressor stuff, my big welders. Oh, so if you guys want, go to, like, because flat bar is expensive, go to a lawnmower shop and ask them for old worn out blades, and you can do this. I originally made this one for the top shelf. Then my dad was like, oh, well, we want to put another one. So I dropped down here and put another one on the bottom, and he ran some boards on it for storing totes. And that used to be a camper door. 25, 30-foot extension for my welder, my welding hood, my big welders. That hasn't really changed. Over here, we got a extra tank hooked up. It was my grandfather's compressor. It wouldn't get much more above 60 PSI because the valves in it were shot. The top end is completely shot in it. So it's back in the corner over there. I'll rebuild it this winter. The motor's sitting back there. I've got, you know, a pump on there. It's fine. It's rebuilt. It works great. The motor's great. It works good. It's just slow for all the air capacity. Like I said, I got like $200 in this whole thing. And it'll work just as good as a big 60-gallon, 80-gallon compressor for volume-wise. It takes a half hour to air up. Ish, I think. I don't know, I haven't timed it. But yeah, once it's aired up, you can run a lot of air tools. Granted, this is only pumping up to 100 PSI because that tank is old as shit. That one's from the 1940s, I think. 40s or 50s. I have no clue what the condition of that one is, other than my grandpa's had it for fucking ever, and he bought it used. I got that air tank. That one's not hooked up. That's my portable air tank. But I don't really know the condition of any of these, so I only pump it up to 100 PSI. But if one of those fuckers explodes, oh lordy. Here is a converter box for charging camper batteries. This is permanently mounted in a camper. I got that from a estate sale. This is my welding stuff. It's a disaster. I brought some of it home though, which is nice. Air needle scaler, air grinder. So yes, I have all that back together now. I have an extra pulley. But yeah, that's what's going on here. Just a little short, small update. And like I said, I'll make a video of some tips and tricks on where to find hardware. Talk to you later.